right. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the Pig Trail Network YouTube channel, live show. Yeah. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope everything was, it was warm. It was warm. It was kind of hot. I was doing yard work. What was that, Friday or Saturday? I think it got up to like 92 degrees outside. And mowing the lawn and weed eating was enough to just like, I'm done. I'm not doing anything else the rest of the day. I am now useless. We've got some interesting Razorback news regarding a certain player transferring from the basketball team. We've got Commit Watch happening tomorrow, 6 p.m. We'll touch on that too. Arkansas should get a commitment tomorrow. We'll see. We'll talk about that. No beer this time. We're drinking Code Red. It's Monday, y'all, on Code Red. Razorbacks. Pepsi products still sponsor the U of A. I'm sorry that triggers people. Yeah. So, please like the video. 71 degrees here. What's going on, Mr. T-Dub? I'll address everyone in chat here in just a second. Like the video. Share the content. I mean, that matters a lot. If you tap the little share arrow wherever it is on your screen and paste it somewhere, that is, as much as anything, that matters a lot. And if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button, so on and so forth. Check out all the links, the Hog Talk podcast. We had our Kyle. I think I haven't actually listened to today's episode, sadly. I'm going to get to that hopefully tomorrow, but I believe Kyle and Porter did the Monday episode, and they had to do the Friday episode as well. But I should be good to go this Thursday to record, so I'm looking forward to that. I always enjoy, even if I have to go solo or if I've got Kyle or Porter with me, it's always good times. Podcasting is fun. It's just talking Arkansas sports is fun. So, yeah. But, again, if you haven't already, check out the links provided for you down below. Shout out to the Patreon supporters and anybody who've thrown a buck in the PTN, if you've joined the Patreon page or if you've thrown a donation in the PayPal, at the PayPal, I appreciate it. You guys, I really do. That goes a long ways. But, of course, sharing is caring. So make sure you share the content. All right, Robert Ainsworth, Gavin Pratt, Jacob Botwinick. Did I say Gavin Pratt? Big Man Ross, Mr. T-Dub, Seth Moore. Shout out to all you guys in chat. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I bet Ethan Henderson transfers too. So we'll start there, right? We'll start there. Reggie Cheney is out the door. He's gone. Well, I mean, that's the rumor. The rumor had been that he's hit the transfer portal. That is not entirely accurate yet. He's not there. I've looked. He ain't there. Trey Biddy brought this up on Twitter. He was like, hey, look, I know we've heard the rumors too, and someone had screenshotted me something that he had said. But he's not there yet. I don't know what the holdup is. I do believe that Reggie Cheney does. I believe he's going to transfer. I do believe that that's going to be the case. There have been rumors around Ethan Henderson transferring. There's all sorts of stuff out there, off the court issues he's having to deal with. I've heard stuff, but I don't like to really, some rumors and tasty little tidbits, things like that. I don't mind sharing. I've heard all sorts of stuff with the Ethan Henderson situation. I don't know if he transfers. I'm going to say this. I hope that he doesn't. Ethan Henderson has come a long way. Cheney, a little bit different story. Let's touch up on Cheney really quick. And by the way, for the people who complain about, I had someone complain on YouTube in my comments that they didn't complain. They were pointing out that sports starts at this time. By the way, That's always how the show's been. It's going to take a few minutes to get there. Sometimes I have the waiting screen up for you guys because it takes me a little bit. I'm trying to share stuff across social media, and of course, I do the intro. It's all part. Look, man, it's no different than listening to radio, right? I mean, you're going to listen to a 3-hour, 4-hour show, and really you get like an hour and a half's worth of actual good content, right? Maybe you get 10 minutes of actual good content here. I don't know. But that's just always been the case. And the person that wrote that is someone who's come through here before and complained about stuff. That's fine. You're entitled to I welcome it. But then he took it down. I couldn't find it. I went to go click on it, and I was going to reply to his comment, and I couldn't. It was gone. Have some balls. Keep the comment up. Don't delete it. Or maybe YouTube took it down. I don't know. All right. Reggie Cheney, the forward. He started in 9 games this year, but he played in a lot more. Remember, he had that controversial right before first half ended against LSU where he had that technical foul. But he started in 9 games. He averaged around 5 points. He shot throughout his career at Arkansas about 59% with around 3 rebounds per game. Shot a career high this last year, and I think you got to give credit to him during his offseason and Eric Muscleman. But he shot a career high of about just south of 68% from the floor during the 2019-2020 season. He played under Mike Anderson. Cheney played 16 minutes, a little more than 16 minutes a game during Mike Anderson's final season, which then dropped by more than 2 minutes the following season. He began his sophomore season with an indefinite suspension due to violation of team rules. As a result, he missed the first 3 games with Arkansas. Cheney was a 3-star prospect out of Findlay Prep in Nevada. He chose Arkansas over, and I remember this because he had committable offers from TCU, Texas A&M, and at the time the red-hot Wichita State, the Shockers or whatever. They have the funniest looking mascot. I could be wrong. I think he's the 3rd player technically to transfer. But Jalen Harris, we know, wound up at Georgetown, and I swear there was Jalen Tate also transferred, but I can't remember when that happened. But yeah. So, pull up all my rest of my notes here. Yeah. Jalen Harris ended up going to Georgetown. Per NCAA rules, Cheney will sit out this next season unless he contests the ruling to become immediate, to have immediate eligibility. Let me tell you something. If he goes somewhere like a blue blood, if he goes to, I don't know, let's just throw a name out there. We know that the possibilities of this are slim. But if he goes to like Kansas or Duke, North Carolina, yeah, he probably would win. He'd probably become immediately eligible. He'd probably have that rule. I mean, we know how this works. Connor Vanover, in my opinion, absolutely should have been qualified for immediate eligibility, and he wasn't. But then again, I really believe that maybe all kids should. Maybe everyone should be immediately eligible. It's doesn't roll off the tongue quite like you would expect. That's my point. I know not everybody agrees with that. But last year would have been I think last year would have been if you had Connor Vanover last year, God only knows just how much better they would have been. There's no doubt he would have been a huge addition last season. But I don't know that that's going to be the case, that he ends up going to a Power 5, a big-time program. I really don't know what interest. I think he's from Tulsa. He has connections to Tulsa. Someone's going to have to refresh me on that. But I could see him going to another, maybe to a mid-major. Not another mid-major. Arkansas is not a mid-major. So, yeah. Your roster, I mean, this isn't a huge. It's not a big loss to your roster in terms of when you look at the impact that he's had. He's had his moments. He's had moments where he felt like that. Okay, Cheney's coming along. He's going to be a baller by the time he leaves Arkansas, but he's got to be developed along the way. And he seemed to regress a little bit, and then you start to see some other guys, younger guys, get some more playing time in front of him. But going back to Ethan Henderson. To me, it's just, I hope to God that these rumors are all just that, rumors about Ethan Henderson. I hope that he sticks it out and ends his college career as a Razorback one way or another. I do believe of any player in the last, 5-6 years. I don't know that I've seen a kid come along in the second half of the season when they needed him most, to do so, and he did. Ethan Henderson was a baller at the end of the year. I mean, he was just, you needed a big-time clutch rebound. He seemed to come away with it, not all the time. It's not like he put up unbelievable numbers, but got to remember, too, Ethan had, I don't even think he had a handful of starts, right, the last half of the season. Maybe he did, I can't remember. It seems like so long ago, thanks to COVID. It's so foggy that time of year, and then you got into the SEC tournament, and but yeah, I would have been. I think it'd have a larger impact if you lost Ethan Henderson over Reggie Cheney for the future. I know, again, Cheney's a little bit more older. He's a little bit more experienced, and he's had some great moments as a Hawk, a few. But I think Ethan Henderson, for what he does, for his size, his ceiling is so much higher than Cheney's is, and really came along again those last few games. So again, I know I kind of wanted to address that too, because Cheney, I think everybody kind of saw coming. I think some people are coming around to the idea that, oh, wow, we could lose Ethan Henderson as well. So what this does as far as your roster, if Isaiah Joe comes back, there's no adjustments needed. That's it. Isaiah Joe, assuming he comes back, you're right where you need to be in terms of your scholarship distribution, and and so then if you lose Ethan Henderson, now you're -1, right? So you could the way Muscleman hits the transfer portal as often as he does, I could see him trying to fill that up and hopefully get someone who's immediately eligible. Although then you start getting into slim pickings. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word. So if you look at, again, over the years, you've had a number of transfers in and out at Arkansas, but Reggie Cheney's still not there. He's not on the portal right now. And this was last updated at 4:01 p.m. today. So I don't know if a number of people, Hog Talk was one of the first, in fact. I think it was Kyle who pushed that out. But he had it typed out ready to go. Like, he knew it was coming. We all kind of knew this is a matter of time. And I had heard some rumblings a little while back, but I'm usually the type of guy, if I don't get solid evidence, then I'm just not going to mention anything about it. But he's, according to everyone, Scott Borderline and Hog Talk and a number of other people, I think the only one who's saying, hold on, we know the rumors are out there, we just can't confirm anything just yet, is Trey Biddy over at 24/7 Sports. So, you could, if you're not on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. That's where all the information comes first, even before message boards are good for insider information, but Twitter for the big news stuff like that, like big-time players or potential players transferring in or out. Twitter's a great place to be. I don't know what you're doing if you're not there. I don't know how often I'll text something to somebody and they're like, where did you hear that? I'm like, you're not on Twitter? What are you doing with your life? That's about all Twitter's good for. And we're going to touch on Twitter, some drama on Twitter here in just a second. Okay, moving on to Arkansas football. By the way, this will be should be about a 30-minute show, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Arkansas football recruiting tomorrow, 6 p.m. 6'8", 300-pound, three-star offensive tackle Devin Manuel expected to announce that he's going to transfer. I've got that word stuck in my head. He's going to announce his commitment to the University of Arkansas. This is a kid, he doesn't have a ton of Power 5 offers, but he does have committable offers from Houston, Iowa State, and Kansas. I think he has about 16 or 17 total offers. But it's kind of been – he's another one of those kids that have been on the short list of guys expected to commit sometime soon. But again, 6'8", out of I cannot – how do you pronounce this name? Bo Cheney, Chene High School, out of Arndeville, Louisiana. My God. Okay. Yeah. But for the 2021 class, he is rated across the board about a 3-star. He's the number 41 overall player in the state of Louisiana. He's ranked somewhere around 100 in the offensive tackle category, just from 24/7 Sports. From the composite, which again is everybody, he's a number 36 player. In fact, he's higher rated on the composite score as far as an in-state prospect but his offensive tackle ranking comes down quite a bit to I'd say quite a bit, 11 spots. He goes down to 112 on their composite rating. But I don't think he's someone that's waiting on any other offers. And he just got a committable offer from on May 19th from Michigan State and UCF on May 28th on UCF, and then May 19th on Michigan State. And he's also got an offer from Indiana as well. Again, he's got about 16 or 17 total offers. But I expect him to end up a Razorback. And that would that's not going to have a massive impact on their ranking. They are top 30. They're top 30. They're 29th in the country according to 24/7 Sports with the SEC ranking of 8th. AJ Green's still your biggest, your most highest rated player. You're only 4-star on this list. I'm asked quite a bit about Norwood. I'm asked quite a bit about the Aaron Outley, tight end out of Little Rock, who's actually dropped a little bit in recruiting rankings. I think that's mostly because of all these camps being canceled. I still think those guys end up being Hogs. I don't know. As far as Norwood, I said this, and I'm probably going to say this every time we talk about the next commits, the big time commits, the big 4 stars, the ones that everyone asks me about. I think he's got to be on that short list of guys next to commit. I really, really like Arkansas's chances. So Aaron Outley's another story. I mean, as of about 3 or 4 weeks ago, he was an Arkansas lock. I think he still is. But they have moved on. I mean, they offered another. Well, not moved on. Sorry, that's not what I meant. They've offered another tight end, but they're expected to sign 2 tight ends in this class. Jalen Sheed is a kid that was rumored to get offered by Arkansas. I have not confirmed that just yet. But he was rumored that he's gaining a lot of interest from a lot of schools, not just Arkansas, but he's got an offer from Alabama, TCU, Ole Miss. The list goes on. Again, Jalen Sheed. Now you talk about DJ Williams clone. He really is a DJ Williams. I mean, he's 6'4", like 230 pounds, a little bit smaller frame, pretty athletic, moves pretty well. Yeah, he's just got a bunch of Power 5 offers, and Arkansas's kind of coming in. I'm not going to say late because, again, Alabama just offered him back on June 11th. TCU offered him on June 9th. Ole Miss and Florida State just offered him last week, along with Louisville the week before that. So you're coming in kind of at the right time, assuming they've pulled the trigger. I've not seen yet where they have for sure offered him, but Arkansas supposedly has interest in Jalen Sheed. Again, he's out of Olive Branch, Mississippi, if you want to go look him up. So they could still grab Aaron Outley, or they could take any other tight end commit, and I wouldn't be concerned. I'd be concerned if he has it committed, by the time the regular season starts, because it sounded like he was on commit watch for a while without actually putting out a timing on his commit. So, yeah, Devin Manuel tomorrow, 6 p.m., 3-star offensive tackle, 6'8", 300 pounds, out of Louisiana. So we'll see if his I don't know much if his recruiting is really expected to blow up a whole lot. I don't know. Again, he just got that UCF offer, so we'll kind of see where that goes. But I do feel like 99% sure he's going to end up a Hog. So, all right, the last thing I wanted to talk about, the last thing I wanted to discuss, let me get caught up on chat really quick. People complain too much time. I'm telling you, Jacob, it's like, it's just the most ridiculous stuff, too. I mean, this is, how long have we been doing the whole intro? It's just a part of the show, man. I mean, we're here to talk and BS and have a good old time. Henderson needs to stay, says Timothy Henderson. I agree, Timothy Henderson. Cheney was a little bit too emotional at times. Not a bad thing, just too much at times. What's up, Tyler Edmonson? Yo, how you doing, brother? What freshman can make a real splash? I mean, a real splash. I think all of them. I really do. I don't know that you discount any of them. It's obvious to look at Moses Moody and go, yeah, that's going to be the guy. Assuming you're talking about basketball. Remember, if you guys phrase question, make sure you're asking, like, or you put in your question, like, sports. Like, what sports? You're talking football, basketball, baseball. What are you talking about? But if you're talking about basketball, I think any of them are capable. Moses Moody is definitely going to be probably the fan favorite. There's so much talent, and they're so evenly balanced. I mean, this is the most right I think that roster has been in a while. Maybe since, I don't know, Portis, Qualls, that team, that setup they had, and even then you kind of felt like there were still some weaknesses. I don't know. I mean, they've got size. If you get Isaiah Joe back, oh my gosh, if you get Isaiah Joe back and you're not ranked, and assuming you still have Ethan Henderson, I don't know that he has a huge impact on what you consider the capabilities for Arkansas in 2020. Maybe a little bit because again he's size, right? He's someone who can play in the paint and who was really attacking the boards in the second half of the season, was getting big time rebounds, was helping to create a problem in the middle that allowed those guards and those outside the wing guys to make plays, to allow a little bit of pressure off of guys like Isaiah Joe, and when you have someone inside who can draw some a little bit of a distraction off the rest of your or the other four guys on the floor, like I think Ethan Henderson can do. It's huge. It's so imperative that you have size, along with not just one or two guys with decent size who could play well in the paint, but more on the bench, more guys that can fill up the bench that you can rotate out that aren't getting exhausted. That was something that you just never had last year. It wasn't even just depth. It was such a lack of size, and until Ethan Henderson came along, it was just so easy to expose Arkansas. And it's not that Ethan was perfect. But again, had Ethan played the way he did at the end of the year, the entire season, I think you would have had a different outcome. I think you probably could have added another win or two or three. I really feel that way because he kind of helped. You could no longer really exploit Arkansas's weaknesses inside like you could when he wasn't on the floor. And his game just progressed so much. And I talked about that on a lot of the post-game shows. And we talked about on the Hog Talk. And that's something all local Arkansas media people were saying was like, this guy has come along. His game is developing. Muscleman is doing an awesome job. Isaiah Joe is imperative to come back. But Ethan Henderson, it's important that he comes back, right? Joe, it's imperative. If you want that preseason respect that Arkansas basketball hasn't had in years, Isaiah Joe will help that, right? Isaiah Joe adds to that. And even if he doesn't come back, you've got a ton of talent. You guys asked about the freshmen who are going to come in and make a splash. I think any of them could, but it's so imperative that he comes back if you want that preseason success and if you want some long-term success throughout the 2020, 2021 season. It's a different team without Isaiah Joe. I mean, it just is. The separation, the spacing on the floor that he causes, he forces you to respect perimeter play. He forces you to respect what's about to happen on the floor because of his range. And he didn't have to catch fire. He's not like one of these guys where you switched up when they catch fire. It was just, okay, it's Isaiah Joe. We're going to have to respect his game and do everything. But, again, you didn't have the size last year to really to have any real effect. You didn't have as many second chance shots as you'd wish. There was offensive rebounding was embarrassing. It did get better over the year. And even if it wasn't Ethan Henderson, there'd be times someone else would step up. But yeah, in my opinion, you're talking about a different team when you have Isaiah Joe back versus not having him back. But the freshmen, I think any of them are capable. I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited about Arkansas basketball since I guess Portis' second year. Gafford coming back was a big deal, but you still just felt like there wasn't. All the air was still kind of out of the room, and I was just so over Mike Anderson. Again, I caught a lot of heat for saying that Mike's time was up and he needed to go. It was time to move on. It was time to go in another direction. And I was called a racist and all sorts of stupid, ridiculous stuff simply because I thought Arkansas needed a change. And fortunately, they made, I think, the right change. They went with a guy whose basketball IQ is through the roof. Oh, that code red, it just hits you right. I think Miles Slusher, you're talking football. John Hawes is talking football. What's up, John? I think Miles Slusher makes an immediate impact. Okay. Do you think Muscleman will actually give his guys more bench time to rest during games? Again, you have depth. And it's not, we use this word all the time. What is it? Quality depth. You finally have that on the bench, I feel like. Where do you see Daniel Gafford in the future? I don't know. If he's not a Celtic, I really don't really pay attention. Where do you, let's see, Vancouver and Williams. You got corrected, Timothy. Vanover and Williams will change the size problem. Yeah, I know. Darn spell check. I know it happens to me all the time, and I'll tweet something, and I'm like, I got to take that down because I spell check. It's stupid autocorrect. It's the worst. I probably should do, well, no, it's probably worse. When people use the voice to chat, my dad does it quite a bit, and it'll substitute certain words that when your phone doesn't really pick up when your accent kicks in, right? Are exceptions for our expectations for Connor Vanover too high? That's a good question, because now all of a sudden, look, he blew up his last handful of games at Cal. I have confidence. I believe that Muscleman's going to know. He knows exactly what to do with all the pieces on the board. He just knows how to exploit and get the best out of his players. He knows where to line them up at. I mean, again, Mason Jones benefited from this greatly. Isaiah Joe, up until he got injured, you can argue. Ethan Henderson, we saw his progress throughout the season. Now this is his second full year at Arkansas. I do think the expectations are probably a little too high. I don't know that he's going to come in and light the world on fire, and you don't need him to. You don't need him to, especially if IJ comes back. You don't need him on the offensive side of the ball jacking up threes left and right. You're going to need him as close to the paint as humanly possible. Someone who's 7'3", my God, he could sneeze, scratch his butt, yawn, and hold his hand up and get a rebound. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is size and athletic ability in the SEC, at the forward and center position. I get that. It's not going to be as easy as we all expect it to be, but when you're 7'3", my God, that ball's going to bounce in his favor a couple of times, and the odds are he's going to come away with it simply because of his size. I'd love for him to put on some meat. I'd love for him to put on some size, right? Some weight. He looks really frail. But his frame may not hold it, may not support it. Yes, short answer, yeah, I do believe the expectations for Vanover are a little, they might be, I'm not going to say out of reach. See what I did there. I don't want to say out of reach, but they might just be a little bit on the high end for what people, I've seen people that claim he's going to be, that he's a possible, if Joe doesn't come back, he's a possible player of the year. Like, that's the caliber that he is. Not that that's a popular opinion amongst even your average basketball fans or Arkansas basketball fans, but you have seen it and you have read it on Facebook and Twitter and across social media. And there are people that truly believe he is the difference maker, could be as much as Isaiah Joe in terms of his importance to the team. It's a really good question. But I do think he's going to be. It's going to be exciting to see what he does. It's going to be exciting to see what he's capable of doing and how Muscleman utilizes him on both the offensive end and the defensive end. The Cowboys are winning it all this year. Yeah, how's that? How's La La Land? No, they're not. I hate the Cowboys. I'm sorry. That triggers so many of you. I know I've just never liked the Cowboys. I live in the heart of it here in Arkansas, the heart of cowboy country. Although Chiefs are really popular too. And some of those fans, look, all the respect in the world for Chiefs fans. You guys, I'm so happy they won. Some of these fans are ridiculous. Must Bus was the right move. Like we hope Pit Boss works out. Works out for the best. Go Browns. Okay, last thing, and we're going to end it on this. It's not Arkansas related. You guys are probably aware of what's happening at Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy. I get it. I honestly, it triggered me too. How you're going to cover up that Arkansas waterfall with a ball cap is absurd. Why are you covering up the mullet? Why are you doing this, Gundy? What? That's a thing of beauty. That is gorgeous. Why would you cover up? It needs exposure. It needs sunlight. It needs hydration. And you're going to cover that up. Are you kidding me? I am beyond triggered by this. What? What about the shirt? OAN. No. We're mad because of the hat. He's covering up the Arkansas waterfall. I mean, what about it? What's OAN? What the hell is OAN? One American News Network. Conservative-leaning, Trump-supporting news site. Established 6 years ago, July 4th, 2013. Headquartered in San Diego, California. Owned by Herring Networks. What? Am I missing something? Is this what we're all mad about? Is this, okay. I was upset about the hat over the mullet. I don't know about y'all. All right. Oklahoma State starting running back. This guy's a beast. Hubbard says that he's going to boycott. He threatens boycott after head coach Mike Gundy wears the OAN shirt. I've heard of OAN. I don't visit the site. I am off air. I am political. All right, 90% of the stuff that I watch on YouTube, it's political stuff. Left-leaning, right-leaning, center, Joe Rogan. I watch it all. I consume as much as I can, even the stuff that is just so absurd. And I think that's really how we should all be. I think we should be out. Don't get consumed by an echo chamber. I think that's the worst thing in the world in how YouTube operates. When you watch, I don't know, let's say you're a fan of Ben Shapiro. Okay, the stuff they're going to throw at you then is a lot of conservative media. Make sure I don't know, and I'm not going to tell anybody you absolutely have to do this, but I think it's good for your brain to take in as much. Again, if you're politically active, to take in both sides. I've got friends on Facebook that are brand new to politics, or at least they strike me as such, and they only talk about, discuss their brand of politics. And a lot of it's just not very well, it just seems so misinformed and whatever, that's fine. You have that, thank God we live in the country we live in. You're allowed to do that. But I think it's best that you take in both sides. Listen to both sides. You can still find the other side absolutely absurd, or both sides, for my libertarian friends. But this is the product. Hubbard is the product. I believe, odds are, he lives in an echo chamber. Younger millennials, and technically, according to my wife, I'm a millennial. I was born in 1983. I think I'm more of a zillennial. Whatever. That the goalposts just keep shifting. You're going to get so upset about your head coach and the shirt that he wears that you're going to threaten to boycott. First off, you're an NFL prospect. I'm happy that someone. You have every right to take to social media. We've already talked about. I don't talk really a lot politically because I don't want to. But since this is college sports, I'm addressing it. I'm talking about it. I've had a couple of people ask me about it. I just truly believe that diversity of thought matters. We need to teach our kids this. I believe that diversity of thought, not becoming an NPC, not just falling in line with what everyone tells you to, and if you come outside of that line, you're now a racist. You're now a homophobe. You're now this, that, or X, Y, Z, and it is absurd. I think that this is something that's lost on a lot of the younger millennials, and two, people who've never been politically active, and then they fall in that web of, oh, look, well, the Young Turks said this, so now all you do is you get bombarded with left-wing media, and the same thing with like Fox News and Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, and then you just fall into that web, and I think he is the product of that. If you're so upset about a shirt, why not talk to your coach about it? And maybe he did. What articles I've read, I've not seen anything where he's personally contacted Gundy. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Why not have a discussion? If it bothers you so much, I'm sure he's got Gundy's phone number. Shoot him a text. Hey, can we talk about your shirt? Now, from what I know about OAN, they are right-leaning, Trump-supporting. They have given into conspiracy, not quite like InfoWars, Alex Jones level stuff, but they're out there. I've not seen anything racist. Now, again, I don't watch a lot of their content. I think I've clicked on a small handful of articles. I don't believe that they're racist. Maybe they've said things that are questionable, but in this world now that we live in, if you go against the grain, if you're even slightly skeptical, and this happens on one side of the aisle more than anything, then they accuse that individual of being racist, XYZ, and then they cancel. They want cancel, and cancel culture is so venomous, and it's so wrong. I would rather hear you out than to cancel you. I've had people threaten to cancel me. I've had whatever. You're just not. I don't know. Maybe you just don't want to have the debate. Maybe you don't want to have the discussion. And I think we should be. I don't know that Hubbard hasn't had that discussion with Gundy. I hope that Gundy doesn't kneel. Kneel to Hubbard's demands. I hope that he doesn't take the knee here. And I'm not getting into the Kaepernick stuff. That's not what I'm talking about here. In this situation, I truly hope that he stands up and says, hey, you know what? I enjoy OAN. In fact, he has the individual that tweeted this. I have to go back and find it here really quick. Kyle Boone actually tweeted that picture. And below it, when you click on the thread, there's a whole, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he states that some added context to this, Gundy in the past has praised OAN for its reporting. He said this of the network back in April. So this isn't anything new, according to those who know him. Now, maybe he doesn't have that close of a relationship with his star player. I don't know. But I will quote here what he says. Talking about OAN, he says, and so my personal opinion is from the mainstream media, I'm a little disappointed at all the negativity for whatever reason. I don't know if it's politically driven or not. I mean, come on. But I think it's time to start talking about some of the positives of what people are doing to make it better. And the medical support and the reading and the study of the emergency release of the FDA products. Okay, so they're talking about something else. But then he goes on the second paragraph here. He says, "I tell you what's funny. I was flipping through stations. I found one. I don't know if anybody knows about this. It's called OAN. It's One American News, and it was so refreshing. They just report the news. There's no commentary. There's no opinion on this. There's no opinions on this. There's no left. There's no right. Well, I don't know about that because, again, some of the articles I've read are clearly right. But they just report the news, and I've been watching them this last week because they're giving us the news and giving us more information. In my opinion, some of the positives are coming out, so that was refreshing. That's it. You want to threaten your coach or threaten boycotting because you don't agree with this man's T-shirt? I think you're weak. Or you're dishonest, or you're virtue signaling. I don't know which. Diversity of thought matters. Again, I think that we talk about being inclusive. That should go both ways. Even if you don't agree with Gundy's politics, maybe he is right-leaning, maybe he is conservative and a Trump supporter. Have a talk with him. If you really want to change minds, instead of cancel culture, sit down and have a freaking conversation with somebody. Figure out why they tick. I get it. Social media, that's hard to do. You're going to have your lunatics on both sides. You can't reason with them. In this situation, I absolutely think Gundy would entertain the idea of sitting down and having the conversation about why he supports OEN, which he's already done. That's all I'm going to say on it. I try my best not to get political here. It's frustrating to see, especially the younger millennials who go down this path of I'm going to cancel you because I don't agree with a freaking T-shirt that you wear, or I'm going to boycott. Now, to me, that's the equivalent of cancel culture, just in that form. It's unfortunate. I really hope they sit down. I guess they need to get to know each other a little better, and maybe he just doesn't bring politics into things. Maybe that's his way, and I think that's fine. I think that's probably the best way of doing things. We saw Dabo Sweeney catch heat because he didn't come out soon enough about the Black Lives Matter stuff. And then all of a sudden, people were questioning whether or not he was a racist on Twitter. It's absurd. Maybe it's best you don't. Maybe I'm sitting here telling you guys, why aren't you on Twitter? Maybe you're smart. Maybe that's why you avoid Twitter and social media, and I don't blame you. It's frustrating. But I hope that I know I'm going to teach my kids to be to be tolerant of both sides of thought on the political spectrum, and I'm going to teach them because tolerance is a two-way street. I'm going to teach my kids that, and I wish they would do that in the schools. I wish that was something that was taught more on campuses across the country. It's clearly not been the case, and it hasn't been for a while. And I hope that we do. I hope we bring common sense back. I don't know how we do that with social media. Okay, that's it. That's my rant. I want to say thank you guys to all the Patreon supporters. I do appreciate you. I probably said some things that triggered some people. I fully expect some interesting emails after this and some comments. That's fine. I welcome them all, assuming you actually want to have a discussion. I have my email down below. If you want to have a conversation, email me, hit me up. I usually respond within 24, 48 hours most of the time. For those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, feel free to DM me, hit me up. Okay, yeah, remember, subscribe if you haven't already, and all that. So glad you keep politics off the channel. TJLSU. I love TJLSU, Dad. I don't always agree with the guy, but man, he's funny at times. And look, he's been pretty supportive of Arkansas, and he makes a lot of sense when he talks sports. I agree with him. Some of the things he said about Arkansas in the past. But I love TJLSU, Dad. You just got to, some people have to take him in small doses. A conversation can fix so much, but people are so afraid of having their minds changed. Well, that and people are afraid of being canceled. And that's just, I can't believe that I don't know. I would rather hear somebody out than just push them out the door. That's just my way of thinking. Again, thank you, Patreon supporters. Love you guys, everyone who came through the chat today. Glad we had this conversation. Great live stream. My Facebook. Well, I don't have a Facebook page for PTN, but you can follow me on Twitter if you don't already. Let's see. You can disagree with politics, still get along. Come on. Yeah, I agree. All right. Woo Pig Suey. Again, the plan is Friday to go live, and I'll see you then. You guys behave, and yeah. Oh, stay cool, too. Man, it's hot out there. It is so hot. I'm going to finish off this Mountain Dew, eat some supper, and yeah. All right.